first one is called Red Blood Bleeding. All the people from Jamaica here, shout. Let me hear you, let me hear you. And I know we all love Jamaica, and I know our hearts bleed for some of the things that we know are happening in our homeland and happening right here in our adopted homeland. And so I thought I would do this piece for you. It's called Red Blood Bleeding. I bleed for my country. Blood so red it stains the pavements of my mind. For the horrors and atrocities committed against our innocent children by the sex offenders whose names they refuse to release. Big man, you're nameless, so you're shameless. I bleed. I bleed for my brothers living in substandard conditions that pedigreed dogs would refuse. Wanting work and finding none. Wanting to provide but having no skills because our system of education favors the rich and denounces the poor. Sitting on sidewalks all day long waiting for trouble to find them, hoping and praying that God will step in before they pick up a gun to quench the thirst on their lips, a Glock to fight on the side of those who use and abuse, misuse, then refuse. I bleed. They leave our men in stones, incarcerated in prisons of stone and mind. I bleed. I bleed for my sister, raped and ravished by a man 6 times her age, held down by a mother who should never be called a mother, sold into slavery by a system that makes no provision for her, that flashes the bling and bling but never gives her a thing, vacant eyes staring into space, the dim light by which she studies until her abuser comes. For a body burnt by cane fire, by acid, by oil, for the baby torn from her pregnant belly in the name of choice, for the choice that takes an innocent life, snuffing it out like a mosquito, like a nuisance to be crushed between the weight of our hands, for the 8-inch heels she suffers to wear in the name of fashion that will one day break her back. I bleed. I bleed for the innocents, victims of a terrorist ideology that has no place for tolerance, that says, you believe what I believe or die. You say what I should say, you should say or die. Think what I want you to think or die. Just die, I bleed. Radical fundamentalists on all sides who sing praises to a God unknown when lives are snuffed out because they dared to be themselves. I bleed. I bleed a blood so red, so bloody red that the eclipse of the sun would run from that color of red. A blood so red that the gun court of old would bow to the redness of my blood. A blood that soaks the streets of Kingston, New York, Montego Bay, Orlando, St. Anne's Bay, Santa Barbara, and on to Savlamar, and run into the sea where it cannot be diluted by the waters of the cool, cool Caribbean. I bleed. I bleed a blood so red it looks black. Black like the tar on the streets where another body lies dead, another duppy for another day. Blood so dried it cannot be washed away. No fire hose, no bleach. Scrub, 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 scrub until you rub your skin raw and I will still bleed. I bleed a blood so red, so bloody red. I bleed. Thank you very much. A little less militant. Those of you who are from Jamaica, how many of you have been back home this year? Show me your hand if you go home this year. You're going, you just don't reach it. All right. How many of you remember a place like Flatbridge and Faith's Pen? You know, when my husband and I drive around Jamaica, and we live here and there, I like to tell people we live in both places. It's not necessarily true, but I like to tell them that. And whenever we go home to Jamaica, the biggest joy we have is driving around the country and eating as we drive. You stop at the sugarcane man, you stop at the coconut man, you see Naseberry, you stop, you see corn, you stop, by the fish, you stop, coconut soup, you stop, everything. And so this poem I wrote when I was really homesick. And we live in Florida, which flat, right? Flat, flat, flat like a pancake. So this one is for all the people who miss home. I have made this land my home. Here on this flat strip of land, where palm trees sway against the backdrop of the Atlantic untamed ocean. And it's 96 degrees summer, I have been transplanted, transported, migrated, transmigrated. This is now my home. I have raised my children, paid my taxes, and made many friends. I have struggled to live the American dream in air-conditioned comfort, and it is a good life. But still, I miss Jamaica. I miss waking up to the sounds of clinkling in the trees. You remember that? My mother neighbor noisy rooster heralding the morning. You remember that? Spreading my towel on any beach I want, shaded by the branches of a sprawling sea grape tree. Then swimming shark-free in the beautiful Caribbean waters, gently caressing the shores. I miss stopping by a friend and peeping in our pot on Sunday morning without calling first. And the certainty that somewhere somebody have rice and peas and chicken waiting for my hungry belly on a Sunday. Knowing that my neighbor's sugars is my sugar, and that her mangoes is the same as my mangoes. Planting and breadfruit grow on tree, not in supermarket. And oranges have spots like God intended them to. I miss holidays in the countryside, Flat Bridge, Bogwalk Gorge, and the famous rock. You know the famous rock. Coconuts and sugar cane on the Linstead bypass, inching slowly up and down around the twists and turns of Mount Russell and Mount Diablo, frequently stopping to allow the tractor trailers to negotiate the corners. One more coat of paint, just one more coat of paint, and it could be all over. I miss saltfish and roast yam at Faith's Pen, the canopy that still covers the parts of Fern Gully, Dunn's River Falls, Prospect Beach, Doctor's Caves, and Negril's 7 glorious miles of white sand beaches where the renter dreads roam free. I miss Christmas in Jamaica. Man, I miss Christmas in Jamaica. The feeling that Christmas is more than just an endless stream of spending and shopping. I miss the office parties, hanging out with your friends on the veranda, enjoying the cool Christmas breeze rolling down the mountainside. Ah, the Christmas breeze. You remember that? Christmas morning service when new shoes are upon your big toe. Everybody dressed up in their best and their dons and gone to Christmas service to welcome the Christ child. The bright orange poinciana, you remember that? The fire red blue maho and spatodia flowers, you remember that? Yes, I miss that. Blooming stark against the beautiful lush green mountains. Oh, the smell of Christmas cake baking in the oven. John Cooner bands that still roam the countryside. Them boys knocking dominoes till daylight, drinking beer. And Boxing Day at the beach. And the week before Christmas, between Christmas and New Year, when only nurses and the fire service really work. Oh, I miss Jamaica. And yes, I have made this land my home. Here, on the flat strip of land that they call Florida, I made my home, where palm trees sway against the backdrop of an untamed ocean, and it's 96 degrees in the summer, even in the shade. But deep down inside, way down in my belly bottom, there is a longing to be back on the rock. Jamaica, jam down, jam rock, yard, the place I call home. And sometimes you have to scream and riot. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.